My name is Philip. I'm a PhD student at the Max Planck Institute for Chemistry. And here on this campaign, I'm working on an instrument that measures radical in the free atmosphere. And we are measuring those species on board of our research aircraft that we are in right now. And as usual, during this campaign, I'm taking care of our instrument. I'm being an operator during flight. I'm operating the instrument and making sure that everything is fine. And after the flight, I look into the data, do the data analysis, and later on, I'm planning to do also the publications and also bringing all the science that we found into perspective and bring them to other scientists. So typically in the early morning, before rollout, we start up our instruments and we make sure that everything is up and running. So most of the instruments, they take 2 to 4 hours to warming up. Then after the rollout, we are preparing the cabin for takeoff. We make sure that everything is good. Then after takeoff, every operator needs to monitor the instruments. We need to adjust the flows and make sure that everything is good. And then once we are in flight, we are following our goals and our plan. And then we are also always in communication with the ground. Ground also sees most of the data. And then we are communicating, this area or this level was interesting. Then we go back and then we sample air there. And then at the end of the day, after we landed, so the next day we typically have our quick look meeting. We are discussing all preliminary data that were collected during the flight. And then we see the full picture of the flight that we did the day before. This aircraft that we are in right now is named HALO, which stands for High Altitude and Long Range. And this aircraft can go for like 8 to 10 hours. And this is also the time for a typical measurement flight. So we have takeoff, then we are on cruising altitude and we do our measurements for like 6 or 7 hours. And then after the landing, when we came back to our destination, which is typically the airport that we took off before, we need to get our data. So we download all the data, we shut down our instruments. And then after the flight, we have a short debrief where we communicate with all the pilots and all the ground, how everything worked out, and to see if there are any improvements. Yesterday was my last flight, and this was my 6th flight of the campaign so far. Today we have a ground day, which means that we try to get everything ready for the next flight. We will refill our gas cylinders, we refill our chemicals that we need for our measurements. And then our next flight will be tomorrow, and I most likely also will be an operator tomorrow during this flight. But I'm also planned as an operator for the transfer flight back, so from Australia to Germany. And I'm also really excited about this one, because this will be a flight over several days with stopovers in Darwin, Malé, Abu Dhabi, and then finally we go back to Oberpfaffenhofen near Munich, where there's the home base of HALO.